for sure. Let's move over to our last game. Kansas went into Provo and took down an undefeated BYU team. And look, both of us had Kansas winning and Kansas covering. So, well, I guess we can go back to why we both did that. And I think we were both pretty similar on this. Kansas has been playing good football. Now, here's what I'll say about this game, though. Should Kansas have won this game? I don't know, okay? But they did. And you could say the same thing about BYU. Should they have won the Oklahoma State game? I don't know. Should they have won the Utah game? I don't know, right? So I think variance kind of caught BYU in this game a little bit. You had that one funny quarterback punt thing that happened that kind of massively changed that game.
That changed everything.
I mean, so I credit Lance Leipold, credit Kansas for finding a way to win. After having 5 straight one possession losses, and they're going to improve their record to 1-5 on the year in one possession games.
Yeah, I think Daniels played well and well enough to win, obviously. And this is the Kansas team that I thought we would get. I mean, obviously they didn't do it offensively, but
No,
defensively, you got after Retzlaff a lot. Obviously LJ Martin got his on the ground, but you kind of played complimentary football. And credit Lance Leipold, surprise, surprise, he's a very good coach. And they're 4-6. They can still make a bowl game. They got Colorado and Baylor on their schedule, but two teams we talked about earlier in this episode that are playing good football right now. But so is Kansas, and they're very, very dangerous. And BYU learned that, State learned that, and maybe Colorado will too. But man, oh man, that's a good point you brought up there with the variance because, yeah, I mean the margins are so tight. The margins are so tight, and that's why you're not going to see many undefeated teams in the Big 12, especially if everyone keeps recruiting at somewhat of a similar level. And yeah, it sucks for BYU. They had a chance to go and win that football game. You had a chance, on your own 40-yard line after the interception, that Jalen Daniels threw, which was a bad pick. And you kind of go 3-and-out, right? Or just about 3-and-out, 4-and-out, whatever it was after, first time you get into Kansas territory. So it sucks. It absolutely does. There was no late game heroics like you've seen before. Now I think everyone's kind of written them off, and you can, and I'm not going to say this that they're going to, but they can still make the college football playoffs. All they got to do is go on the road and beat Arizona State, who's your underdog.
as a dog.
And then Houston, you just got to win out. You still control your own destiny. You still can have a lot of things fall into your way. The problem is your margins, I think, get a lot smaller because if you do lose to Arizona State, the tiebreakers and the scenarios there, you're not going to be, in a good spot to make to the Big 12 championship. But also, too, if you were to be undefeated and to lose a close one to Colorado, potentially in the Big 12 championship, it would be surprising to see how far they would fall, if any, in the playoff committee's eyes. So this one hurts, but it's still a super, super successful season. I'm happy for Kansas and Lance Leipold getting a win here. They did it, maybe unconventionally is the right term. Luke Grimm is fantastic. I've been disappointed with Lawrence Arnold, and not with him, but in terms of I thought he'd have huge production this year. But Luke Grimm has been really, really good, and you saw him do that again today, which was exciting for Kansas.
So, Colorado plays Kansas next week. What are the chances that some messiness happens there? I mean, the coaching matchup, there's a severe coaching advantage for Kansas in that game. And it's not
the head coaching level,
a home game at the head coaching position, right? What?
Colorado's support staff, and I think they've done a very good job as well. And Kansas lost, obviously, their OC to Penn State.
But all I'm saying is, if Kansas,
3-point spread, by the way, it's a 3-point spread. Open at 2.
Yeah. If Iowa State still plays Kansas City, right? So if Iowa State loses to Kansas State and Colorado loses to Kansas, BYU can actually afford a loss to Arizona State and they'd rematch Arizona State
In
actually in the
rematches.
Big 12 championship because I just did the calculations right here. Because then Arizona State, BYU, and Colorado would all be 7-2, but Colorado's record versus common opponents, BYU and
Beat
Arizona
Kansas State.
State, both win
Yeah.
over them. Arizona State would be 6-0 versus common opponents with Colorado. Colorado would only be 4-2, and then BYU would be 6-1 against common opponents with Colorado, and Colorado would only be 5-2 against those opponents. So, look, it wouldn't be the end of the world either if they lost to Arizona State because I think reasonable things can happen where Kansas State beats Colorado, and I think it's so possible. And then also, I think Kansas State will probably be favored against Iowa State because I believe it's in Manhattan. Oh no, it's in Ames. But
I still think they'll probably be favored though.
yeah, but the reality is, dude, I mean, Kansas is only 2.5 point dogs against Colorado. It's doable. So I think there's still a lot to look forward to for BYU. In the Kansas perspective, Kansas can definitely make a bowl game. Like definitely can still make a bowl game after starting 3-6.